How do you deal with your anger? How can anger fix your relationships? How often do you find yourself trying to push down or control your anger? Or why should you try? Anger is a very natural emotion and it is worthy of our attention. Guess what? Refusing to acknowledge your anger is like denying yourself a glass of water when you're thirsty. As you've noticed, women who express their anger, especially at men, are seen as unmaternal, unattractive, unfeminine in fact, and are condemned. So why are angry women so threatening? Because anger signals a potential threat to others, while guilt, depression, or self-doubt will guarantee a stay-in-place attitude.
How do women express anger?
You've probably noticed two extremes, the nice lady or the bitchy woman. They may seem opposite typologies, but they're actually facets of the same coin, meaning they express the same emotion in different ways. You guessed it, anger. Let's dive deeper. The nice lady. Whenever she feels angry, the nice lady will stay silent in order to protect the other person, avoid conflict, and avoid judgment. The message she gives to her brain? It's that the relationship is more important than her own self. We'll get back to the concept of self a bit later. The cost of not expressing her anger is feeling guilty in the form of not giving enough, not doing enough. Basically, she will do anything to avoid realizing her needs are not being met. The bitchy woman. This type of woman doesn't fear expressing her anger, but when she does, she is labeled, judged, and often gaslighted to keep her quiet. The consequence? She becomes easily reactive as her feelings of injustice and lack of power intensify. So, anger is a signal, and you need to pay serious attention to it. When expressed effectively, the angry energy is a powerful source to reshape the way you interact with others, and most importantly, with yourself. Like any strong emotion, anger involves a significant amount of energy, and that energy, when it is used effectively, becomes a powerful resource that can help you reshape your relationships and also gain a stronger self. Venting doesn't help. It rather maintains a destructive pattern. You usually find yourself fighting over the same things, isn't it? A funny thing, even rats in a maze learn to vary their behavior if they keep hitting a dead end. Why in the world, then, do we behave less intelligently than laboratory animals? Fighting and blaming serve both to protest and to protect the pattern when you are not ready to make a change. What pattern? Ever heard about the underfunctioning, overfunctioning pattern? Like, the more a man avoids sharing his weaknesses, neediness, and vulnerability in a relationship, the more the woman will experience and express more of these emotions. And such a dynamic is rarely healthy because it usually leads to never-ending fighting and blaming. When this happens, you have a choice. You can change and risk losing the relationship, or stay the same and live a pretty miserable life. So what is the problem? You fight because you want the other person to change and see things your way. You are fighting to see justice prevail because obviously you think you're right. Turns out you can't change the other person. And once you accept the cold hard fact that you cannot change or control another person, you are ready to shatter the pattern of familiar conflicts in your relationships.